That's a good transition to our first major topic of the day. So actually, before we do that, so just so you guys know, going forward, we're going to have different categories. I kind of previewed that at the top. The categories will be around the league. That's what we'll talk about, like the news from the last week, what's going on. We have contenders and pretenders. That's what we talk about, the best teams in the league. We'll go around and talk about contenders. Basically, you're saying good things about whatever team is balling at the top of the league. Pretenders, that's whatever team that's like supposed to be a good team that's having a rough week. So, the Raptors of the world. It's a little preview. We have the heat check segment. That's where you shout out a player that's been playing really well this week. A player that's probably off people's radars, or a player that's on people's radars. So it's just, time to give somebody some glory. And then last but not least, we have the scouting report. This is the time for all the hot takes. Is when you make a prediction. Like when Chris said the Suns are going to win the championship at the top of the year.
Oh, wait a minute. You sneaking lies.
So, yeah.
Make the Western Conference Finals.
Yeah.
That's
all
what
that.
I said.
Yeah.
You out here trying to make like some fucking Skip Bayless 2.0.
But so those will be our categories. So first we have around the league, and the biggest topic in the NBA right now has got to be the COVID situation. So I'm gonna run through the games that have been postponed already. On Sunday, or this past Sunday on the 10th, we had the Heat versus Celtics, which is postponed because the Celtics, half their roster is like unavailable. We had the Mavs and Pelicans was postponed on Monday the 11th. We have Celtics and Bulls was postponed tonight, which is Tuesday the 12th. Jazz Warriors was postponed, and the Magic Celtics are postponed for Wednesday. It's a lot of games, a lot of players out. Most of it due to like contact tracing, so players that were in the vicinity or had contact with someone else who had COVID. So that's good news that players aren't actually having COVID at a rampant rate. Some players like Seth Curry do have COVID, so definitely want to pray for them, get well soon. Just before we go into the actual new rules that they're implementing to like combat this, just any kind of takes you have on just the amount of games postponed. Anybody have like a view on that?
I'll just say it was predictable.
Yeah. I think Adam Silver said that they had planned for games to be postponed within like the way they scheduled. So I mean, it's not like it's like out of the blue, So, but with that, so basically the Board of Governors had a meeting. They already had one meeting, but I think they had another meeting today actually. And so I'm going to run through all of the new rules that will be in effect. I think immediately actually. So it's a long list, so just bear with me. So pregame locker room meetings can now only be up to 10 minutes for the next 2 weeks. All other meetings must be on the floor, the gym floor, while players are socially distanced 6 feet apart. Mandatory increase or masks are now mandatory for every player on the bench at all times. The only exception is during cool down periods, they have like chairs. So like when you first get out of the game, there's like chairs at the end of the bench, which are 12 feet away from the bench. And each chair is 6 feet apart. Players are allowed to sit there without a mask on when they immediately check out, but then they must go back to the bench and put a mask on. Players are now only allowed to fist bump or elbow bump when socializing with the other team before or after games. So no more Lonzo and LaMelo hugs and pictures before games and afterwards. Physical therapy and massages before games must happen in large open spaces. Players are not allowed to arrive at the arenas for more than 3 hours before the game. On planes, teams now mimic seating charts according to seating charts on the benches during games. Any person who regularly enters the home of a player must be COVID tested at least twice a week. At home, players and team staff must remain at their residence except to attend team related events. On the road, players and staff are no longer allowed to leave their hotel room for non-team related activities. Visitors are no longer allowed in the hotel rooms. Previously, 2 guests were allowed per person. According to GMs, this was the biggest reason for the contact tracing issues. Like that was like with the Celtics, I think that was the biggest issue with like Jason Tatum and all of them, with just people coming in the hotel rooms, according to like GMs. Also, too, on the road, previously each team or the whole league had like set up certain restaurants in each city that teams are allowed to eat at. That's no longer the case. They're not allowed to leave the hotel for that anymore, so they have to have meals brought to the hotel, I think. Players and staff must wear masks when around anyone who isn't a part of their household. So if they don't live with you, you have to have a mask on to be around them. And in practices, players must wear masks when doing strength and conditioning. That's a long list of things. I'm gonna go down to Dre. What's your initial reaction to like these new rules?
I think it's admirable, but I don't think it's really tangible. You know what I'm saying? Like, it makes sense to, I guess strengthen the protocols because, it is getting kind of egregious. You had Doc Rivers sitting Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid in protest of, playing with only, 8 players and things like that because of COVID and tracing and things like that. But at the same time, you really can't mandate people on what they do in their homes or leaving or anything like that. I think there are very strong suggestions for things that are outside of the practice facility and team mandated activities. But anything where you go into your home or even a hotel, these are strong suggestions, more so than mandates. And I think they will help if adhered to, but I don't think NBA players, especially younger guys who are like hitting the road and doing their thing, we all know what that means, will adhere to these policies or find some workarounds to kind of do what they need to do. So,
what about you, Chris? What are your initial reactions to this?
They're very extreme. Like Dre said, what's the word you use? Admirable. I mean, it makes sense to strengthen them, but it's just extreme to me. Like a couple of the ones that you were talking about. If you live with the person, you have to get, you have to have 2 tests a week. Live with them. That's not even necessarily on the player at that point, especially if they're on like a road trip. I don't know. They seem very extreme and they don't seem possible to enforce.
I think the biggest thing with that too is like people with kids. You know what I'm saying? Like I could see getting like your wife getting tested. I mean, especially if it's not like the up your nose. Like I know they have less invasive tests these days. But getting your kids tested twice a week, that's a whole hassle right there.
Yeah, it is.
And like, bro, who's really at people's houses? Like, they gonna pull up.
Like, how are they going to enforce that? And if they don't, if the family doesn't get the test, you're finding the player. Like, what's the route for that? I don't know.
Unless they're providing those medical professionals like on site or on hand, then it's really like it's inefficient at that point. It's almost more efficient and more cost effective if you just mandate the vaccines and just expedite it to the players.
They are. They just they legally don't have the ability to get the vaccines yet. That's the biggest problem. Just because like there's a whole like waiting, there's an order.
Frontline workers, educators, things like that. Yeah. Which totally makes sense, but at the same time, like you're spending way more money trying to restrict something rather than just kind of putting your ear to the table, throwing a couple meals to the CDC, saying, hey, make sure my people get taken care of as soon as possible type thing. But, we get it, morality and rules and whatnot.
No, for sure. Zach, you got any thoughts real quick before I move on to the next little bit about this COVID thing?
No, y'all basically covered it. I agree.
But so I was listening to Adrian Wojnarowski, and he was basically explaining why the league is going to go ahead and push forward and not like cancel the season. I've seen a lot of people on Twitter, especially like NBA influencers, like NBA Twitter people, kind of criticizing the league for like not just canceling the season. But according to them, when they first came back to start the season, they had like over 100 positive cases. You know what I'm saying? Because it was really rampant. So basically, by continuing the season, it keeps the cases down, and they know if they like stop the season, there's no way they could ever come back. Because I mean, if you think it's bad now, wait till people have no restrictions at all. So it's kind of like if you're going to try to play this year at all, you can't stop now. Like you're in the middle of it. I mean, it's going to get better with the vaccines and stuff. So you kind of just have to like push through. And I guess there's only 4 teams that have had a significant amount of COVID issues. Like look at like the Lakers, the Bucks, like the Pelicans. These are teams that don't have really any issues for real. It's really just like the Celtics, Mavericks, Wizards, Sixers, only a couple teams. So they're just trying to like keep it contained, I guess, is the right word for it. Also, too, I mean, people have made the argument that, like, it sucks, but honestly, the players are some of the safest people in the country with these restrictions. Like, low-key, they're safer than you or me right now. So, I mean, I can see why the league is willing to try to push through it. I don't know if you guys had any reaction to that before we move on. Nope. All right. Speaking of COVID, this is where we get, to the juicy stories, the salacious events. You know what I mean? What you're here to see. Kyrie Irving, you know what I'm saying? Topic of the week. I seen national media's been kind of avoiding it. I seen Stephen A. Smith talking about we're peons, we're pawns. We're not allowed to talk about it, so we're not going to talk about it. Kyrie Irving has not shown up to work in over a week. You or me, our job, I feel like we'd be fired by now. But, Kyrie Irving is Kyrie Irving. He's a special human being. So, basically, after the crazy events with the domestic terrorists at the Capitol, which that's a whole nother story, crazy. Kyrie Irving has decided, whether because of that or for some other reason, to not show up for work for personal issues, personal reasons. Up until, I think, this weekend, even Steve Nash had not had contact with Kyrie Irving or the GMs. He had contacted the team members. So there's that. And then recently, there has been a video that has been floated out. If you look on Twitter, I'm sure you'll see it, of Kyrie Irving at his sister Asia's 30th birthday party. Probably about 20, 25 people in the room. It was at a New Jersey club. And according to the league, they are investigating the incident. If they find Kyrie Irving has violated NBA rules, he will be fined 1/72 of his salary per game. So that comes out to about $410,000 per game. He's already said he's going to miss the next 3 games. So he's going to be missing
Bro, this
almost
brother makes $410,000 per game. My God. Anyway, go ahead.
So he'll be giving up close to $1.5 million over this next week for his activities. So
Bro, imagine making $1.5 million in a week. But that's great. All right, go ahead.
So basically, his sister had a $1.5 million birthday party. That's insane. All right. That was just kind of the whole spill on it. But we'll go around the top. Just your thoughts on the whole Kyrie Irving situation. How should we view this situation? How should we cover it? Should we even be talking about it? Zach, let's start with you at the top.
At the top, yeah, man. I mean, I feel like it's just Kyrie, man. Like I mean, it was bound to happen sooner or later. So I mean, it's just he should be at work. He's skipping work. I mean, really nothing to say. Like, it's right there in front of you. He's not going to work. Like what can you say? But I don't know. Like, I don't know what's up with bro. He's been a weirdo for going on like 5-6 years now. Yeah, whatever, man. Pray for him.
All right, Chris. What's going on with Kyrie, man?
Bro, like, I almost don't even want to get into it until all the information.
We see what's up.
Yeah, just because, just like Zach said, this isn't. When we heard the news, were any of us surprised, or we was just like, "Oh, Kyrie back at it again"? Like, I feel like even the media is almost like, "Oh, he's back at it again. Let's just leave it alone until the full information comes out before he makes another situation again with us." I don't know, man. You brought up the Capitol. I hope that's not. I actually almost hope it's strictly like family stuff more so than he decided to like boycott his league.
Bro, to the point, I think on that real quick, I think that's the main reason people are not really like trying to talk about it too much, because like they're saying like, I mean, if it's something really happened in his family, like you don't look like the a-hole that like grilled Kyrie Irving and like somebody died. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
No, shocking. And I really believe, I will say this though, I believe Kyrie is almost like a social experiment. He wants that aha gotcha moment. Like, you criticize me and all my kids just died. You need to know that. I'm going through it. It's like no, Kyrie feels like the type of guy who wants that gotcha moment with the media and wants to try to flip everybody on the media. Like, see, they don't care. They're heartless.
Yeah. But Chris, I'll let you finish up. What are you about to say?
Like I said, I don't know, man. He's just, like Zach said, he's his own person. I ain't even gonna say the weirdo. He's just his own person. and he's gonna do whatever the hell he wants. I wonder what Kevin Durant's thinking about it. That's what that'd be interesting to hear if how he feels about it. If he knows why he's not been at games or not even been around. If not,
He has to know.
Does he? Steve Nash didn't know.
I feel like we know Kyrie's relationship with Steve Nash is already questionable based when he said we didn't need Steve
but they
Nash.
picked. But they basically picked him.
I mean, did they?
He wouldn't be there if they didn't want him to be.
Kyrie looked like he didn't want to coach. That's basically what he said. I don't know. Dre, what are your thoughts?
What you've all been waiting to hear, right? No. Honestly, okay, there's part of me that's like you can't really speak on a man's agenda until you figure out the full scope. Yeah. So I don't like to deal in gossip, and I don't want to speculate on what could be possibly going on with this brother. There's another part of me that is big on accountability. So as a man, in that same vein, you got to let the appropriate parties know what's going on. You know what I'm saying? If it's not the first day, then at least within the next 3 to 5 days. Like, you can't have this ongoing cloud over the head. Like, you know what I'm saying? You putting Steve Nash and your teammates in a tough position because it's above basketball now. Now it's just about the Kyrie show. So regardless they win, lose, or drop, but how's Kyrie doing? When is he coming back and things like that? So kind of, give Steve Nash the heads up, be transparent. And Steve Nash would be like, he's dealing with some private issues. We've communicated. He'll be back, in a few weeks or so, whatever the case may be. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just take care of your business. Do enough to CYA, which is a professional term for cover your ass. So do enough to where, you have the full scope. People are knowledgeable about the situation who need to know. And then move on about your business. I'm not going to speculate about what it is. We know Kyrie, as Chris said, is his own man. But at the same time, just be accountable. You know what I'm saying? Just say what's going on. Be upright. Be forward. But we know he does his own thing. But at some point, you got to be accountable, bro. Like, you can't just miss a week of work and be like, hey, it is what it is type thing, But whatever's going on, I pray the brother's mental and physical health is, top tier, and everything goes well with him and his family. So,
no doubt. I think just as an NBA player who you get paid to entertain, you know what I'm saying? So I tend to compare NBA players to like music artists, right?
Yeah.
So like what if music artists cancel all their show dates and stuff like that? What do they usually do? They give a reason for it because there's money involved. It affects more than just them. Like the road managers, like everybody is making money because they agreed to do this with you. So you just got to put out like a statement, something, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think not that the fans are owed anything, but just a little something would be nice and professional, considering the fact that people basically pay for you to have this amazing living playing basketball. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. There's that. And then obviously the whole thing with his team.
I disagree with you on that one, man.
Okay.
But I agree more so with Dre on it, where like you don't owe the fans or you don't even have to give them anything, but somebody should know that can speak on your behalf while you're not there. So if he would have told Steve Nash, and Steve, like Dre said, Steve could have came out and said he's dealing with private things, and that's the end of it, and that's all we're gonna say. He'll be back when he's ready, or when he's.
Steve
available.
did say that though. He's talked to Steve Nash already now. It just was like the first 5 days.
You got that off rip because if you don't nip it in the bud originally, there's always this weird energy between him and Steve Nash anyway. When he said it's gonna be a collaborative coaching effort when he was coaching. So now, when Karis LeVert is talking to the media and saying, yeah, he's already texted the group, and Steve Nash like, hey, he ain't text me, so I don't know what's going on. It puts another strange rift on the hierarchy of who really runs the team. So it's like a weird power trip that doesn't need to be there if he just nips it in the bud and be accountable. The same text message you sent to the group message, send it to your head coach so that everyone is on one accord about what's going on.
And like to my point, I don't want to say that. I wasn't trying to say he owes the fans anything. I was just saying, as a professional, I think it is a nice touch to just like put out a statement, even if it's just saying like we have personal issues going on. Even you don't have to put a statement. Your team, every player on that level has a team. They have PR people. They have, they have guys. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like someone on Kyrie's level, I'll put Kyrie in the same category as the LeBrons, Durant's stuff, not based on skill, but just based on like star power. And he's a mover and shaker. Every last one of them would have put out a statement just saying like whatever. And not only, obviously when you tell your coaches, they can say something that'll take the pressure off like, the media asking people's questions. But if Kyrie put out a statement, the media would feel nasty asking Durant like to speak for Kyrie. It would feel nasty asking Karis LeVert to speak for Kyrie. That's my only thing. That's one thing. Now, the whole party thing while he's been away, That's totally different. So I'm going to read Richard Jefferson's take on it, former teammate, a guy who's actually been defending Kyrie pretty hard this whole time until I think yesterday when he said this. Just the optics. While Kyrie might not care about the optics, the logo, they do care about the optics, especially with what's going on in the world. And look at players. Like you talk about being personally affected by this. Karl Anthony Towns. So now all of a sudden Kyrie is at a birthday party. Then he steps out on the court. If the video is recent, it's like I don't know. He's talking weird, whatever. But how can Karl Anthony Towns look at the guy, Kyrie, when I've lost my mom and my dad's been sick, and I see you at birthday parties? You don't care about anybody else other than your family, your circle, and what you're trying to do. It just comes across as very selfish if this is true. That's sort of the thing. Because, like, if he comes back to play basketball after, like, blatantly being at a party, it is kind of nasty with other guys who you're affecting. I don't know. What are your takes on the whole, like, being away at the party thing? Like, basically the whole James Harden experience. You think that people shouldn't read into that, or it's just whatever? Or
I'm going to say my stuff real quick. Richard Jefferson need to stop, like, gossiping, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? And that's just how I feel. Like, you really don't know the full scope, like, of what's going on. Like, who's finna miss their sister's 30th birthday party? You know what I'm saying? And I understand NBA guidelines and things like that and things. But, like, bro, if you go, you go. Like, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? You know, like, oh, I'm in the NBA now. I don't want to subject my teammates. Like, everyone is doing a workaround. The only thing is that he got caught. Like, I think everyone has been in that situation. Everyone has seen some strippers. Everyone is out there kicking it.
I disagree strongly, but okay, continue.
So?
No, I don't. I think there's actually a lot of players are actually following the rules, bro.
LeBron going to the strip club tonight in Houston. Tonight.
Who?
Tonight. LeBron.
He's not, though, because guess what? LeBron's at the strip club right now. The team he's playing with against will be reporting him. They have spies out there, bro. They would get him out for a week, easy. You don't think Chris Paul will be calling and reporting players that are cheating? I know Chris Paul has scouts on every city.
Bro, what I'm saying is they out here kicking it. And like, I feel like everyone's out here doing their own stuff. Like, bro, you really think James Harden in the crib chilling?
Yes, actually. Bro, you can't. James Harden can't go anywhere without being seen. People have phones everywhere.
He don't care, bro. All right, go ahead. We getting off into some other stuff, but
yeah, nah.
LeBron James is 6'8", bro. He cannot go to the club and not be seen.
It was a joke about LeBron, bro. I'm sorry, you made it severely unfunny. I was gonna say he was gonna FaceTime Savannah while he there and show it, but you know, it was too bad.
James Harden's 6'6", bro. I'm just saying these dudes are definitely not out at the club.
Bro, they definitely okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, nah. Real quick. I don't think most people. Honestly, I think most of them are staying home. I mean, you're rich. You have a nice house. It's not like staying home in their predicament is not that bad. Like, it comes to making millions of dollars. And not to mention, most places, most exciting stuff is not open anyway. So I think most of these guys are staying home. I disagree with you, Dre. Like,
everything in Texas is open. And I'm just saying it because I live here. And
no, Texas, yeah. But he did this in New Jersey, bro. That was a private party that they, like, bought the space out. You know what I'm saying? Like, New York is definitely shut down. I could tell you.
New York, LA, Florida's probably not shut down. But
Texas definitely is a shutdown. That's all I can attest to is that nothing has changed here. Like, I don't know what a quarantine, whatever that is, whatever that looks like. I don't know what that is because I have not seen that here.
I'm also say this too, though, bro. Like, honestly, I get everybo's gonna have fun and stuff like that, but like, people are actually dying because of COVID. Like, it's really not a joke. Like, honestly, like, nobody should be doing that. Not just NBA guys. To be real with you, like for real. Like, I'm saying we have somebody on the pod who's lost people. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just really not like a game. And I just think for someone like Kyrie, who I know for a fact is someone who thinks a lot about like other people. He's given over $1 million for COVID relief in New York. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel like it was just a misjudgment on his part, even though it's his sister's birthday. But like guys like Caruso missed his sister's wedding. I mean, bro, come on, it's a birthday.
I'm not doing that,
happy
bro.
Birthday.
I'm not doing that. But whatever. Like I mean, to each his own. Like I said, every man is not expected to be uniform. And everyone's making their own. I mean, like these, synonymous, decisions together. Like no one's going to be uniform in how they interact or do certain things. I do think the majority of the NBA is trying to adhere to the guidelines until the vaccine comes. But all it takes is one. And I feel like in every city and every team, there's been a guy who's had some private, interactions or a few small group gatherings with people that they think are safe. We around your family. Like we was at Thanksgiving, if you went to Thanksgiving or if you did like a family venture, for the most part, you had some mask on and stuff, but you was pretty free with the things that you were doing. And I just think that was an instance where Kyrie was kind of doing the same. But just my opinion, I don't know. I can't speculate because I'm not in that brother's mind, so I don't know.
No, no doubt. Is you might have anything to say if we move on? All right, we're good. All right.